Welcome to the Million Pound Mission Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Shively, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and I'm on a 1 million pound mission. I've personally lost over 100 pounds. I've helped my hometown lose over 35,000 pounds, and now I'm on a mission to produce over 1 million pounds of results by helping you gain clarity about what you need to do to reach your goals and give you the confidence to take action. And my friends, the perfect time to start taking action is now. Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the Million Pound Mission Podcast. It's your buddy Adam, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and this is episode number 195, the Wholestic Method, with my friend Debbie Potts. Now, one of my major breakthrough moments as a coach was when I first realized that I had to ask my clients to give up more control to me. I needed control over their overall health and wellness game plan, because just doing like an hour personal training session a week, that wasn't allowing me to impact them in a way that I just knew there was more there, and I was going to ask for that control. And my friend Debbie here has a very similar background, a similar starting story as mine. Now, Debbie has been in the fitness industry for over 25 years. She's been a competitive, high-level endurance athlete for 20 plus years. And along that journey, she's accomplished so many goals, including being nominated as one of the top 100 best trainers in the USA by Men's Journal. Now, that's super exciting. She's also done 15 Ironman Triathlons. So she's a beast, all right? She's super fit, super awesome, super serious. Her passion and purpose now is to help transform the whole athlete of all levels to learn how to become a fat burner, to get off the blood sugar roller coaster, and of course, reduce the stressors from the inside and out. So Debbie and I had a really great conversation. I really enjoyed connecting with her. We hit it off right from the start. We were like, you're just like me. So we talked about things like how she got started as a health and fitness professional. We all have that story of what ignited that passion. We talk about the frustrations that led to her developing the Wholestic Method. We deep dive on the Wholestic Method. I think you're going to really enjoy that. We talk about the biggest mistakes that she's seeing people make in the health and fitness industry. And we also get her advice for somebody that has transformed their body. So they've already made that journey, but now they feel like they're ready to take on a tougher physical challenge, maybe an Ironman, maybe a 5K, but the first steps, the starting steps to initiate that process. You're going to really, really enjoy this episode with Debbie. She brings it. She brings the energy. She brings the value. So without further ado, let's dive into episode number 195, the Wholestic Method with Debbie Potts. All right, Debbie, welcome to the Million Pound Mission Podcast. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great. Excited to be here and talk shop with you.
Yeah, it's always nice to get somebody that has a little bit of a similar journey, a little similar background, a fellow fitness center owner / podcaster. And that's kind of what I want to start. So how did you fall in love with fitness? I know everybody that becomes a leader in the space has that moment where something gets sparked and they're like on fire about it. So what'd that look like for you?
Well, I've been doing it a long time. I started in college. I was in college, and I was in high school, was always into fitness and aerobics and stuff like that back then, and went to college. I didn't know you can get a degree and become a personal trainer. So it took me a while to go, I start with business, because that's what you do when you go to college. And then I went roundabout way to learn more exercise science and going that direction after a few years figuring out what I was doing. But that was my passion. Is I didn't really get into business and accounting classes. Like, this is not my thing. And then I was like, exercise science. And I was going to corporate fitness, and I thought I'd work at Club Med and cruise ships and be the fitness director. And then I quickly learned that's not such a great job. And then I got into fitness studios, and in college, I was in charge of the fitness center on campus. And that kind of was the start of it. Nice.
Now, as a fellow gym owner, you kind of have that active, almost like lab where that's how I view my clients. I'm like, I can take things and experiment and get hands-on with people. And that's a huge advantage for people like us. So what do you like to do as far as, experimenting with your clients, and how do you learn from having that active, basic database there of people to run these experiments on? How does that work for you?
Well, over the years, I've learned a lot with kind of the biohacking world, and most clients don't listen to podcasts. So I've discovered, because I did a biohacking health fair earlier this year, and I really became aware that no one knows what biohacking is unless you listen to the podcast world. And so my clients don't listen to my show as much as I'd like them to. And so I've learned so much and listened to podcasts myself, and then Superhuman Coach program I did in 2012, 2011 with Ben Greenfield, that we learned a lot more kind of that how to hack your lifestyle. And right now I'm just finishing his beta program, this Keon Coach program we've been doing since August. So I'm always learning new things. And as I became a nutritional therapy practitioner 2 years ago and Czech Institute holistic lifestyle coach over the years, that, I put all this together, and that's kind of what I do as a program. But clients here lately, every week we have that Keon Coach seminar we've had every week since August. So every week I'm always like, okay, this week we're doing this. And, it's all kind of different things. So this week is all about nasal breathing and getting people to breathe through their nose when they exercise and work on that. I was doing, getting people to do cold therapy last few weeks, and getting outside and walking, getting their sunlight between 10 and 2 p.m. And so they get a lot of added bonuses for personal training. It's more than just a workout, but some people may not want to listen to my nutrition or my lifestyle hacks, but I tell them anyways.
I think that's one of my biggest frustration points, is that my clients don't listen to my show as often as I'd like them to. I'm like, it's the perfect supplement. You can just plug in your earbuds and listen, and I wish you would do it. But I feel like sometimes they feel like, well, I get Adam or I get Debbie in person. Why do I need to listen to him on my iPhone? I need a little space from the expert. But so in the biohacking world, what has created the biggest aha moment for you just recently? They're like, whoa, it just kind of blew you away that it was actually working, or something that you never really thought of?
I think a lot of it, as get into my adrenal exhaustion challenges I've had over 5 years, and looking at clients that are so chronically busy and always anxious and rushing around. And it's a simple thing of I used to just say, take 3, that you just deep breathing in, long exhale out, and just helping that reset and recharge is just stopping and breathing and helping. We talked a lot about the vagal tone, the vagal nerve, and activating that parasympathetic nervous system by just, breathing. And it's so crazy how simple it is and how effective it is in 30 seconds a minute, to stop, drop, and breathe.
Stop, drop, and breathe. I love it.
That's just an easy thing to do. And I think, we're always going one thing to the other. Everyone's packed day every day. And it's just, when you're driving your cars, you're not up your shoulders to your ears and just tense and rushing in to work out. And people are all worked up and they're focusing on the day ahead. Just stop, breathe, and let's focus on right now and get connected with your body, because I can't train them, as you probably know, if their mind's somewhere else. And so everything they do is completely wrong because they're feeling, oh, my neck hurts, my back hurts. And so I think that's a big thing of, a lifestyle hack is help shift your mindset and just taking that little reset break. So we are having intermission between each event. So a little break in between.
Yeah, I love that. And so I want to keep going on this vein a little bit. You mentioned a couple of things there, but what else are you seeing people do that is just they come to you and they're doing things you're like, this is just wrong. You should stop doing this, or you should start doing something else. Where are we messing things up? That's what I'm asking here, Debbie.
Yeah. Well, stress is big, of course, that's, as I just said, but I think nutritionally, sleep and nutrition are big, and nutrition is a whole show, but it's people what to eat and think they're healthy, and when to eat before workout, after workout, and then they're eating all this sugar and carbs because that's what they read. And so there's so much confusion out there. And I saw a guy eating a banana in the middle of his workout the other day at the club where I go. Do you really need a banana? Are you spiking your blood sugar up? Are you really that anaerobic workout that you need some extra? I think, teaching people about intermittent fasting and just drink water and have some sea salt and lemon in the morning and just wait to eat till after you work out, and teaching people that they feel like I got to eat something because I'm going to go work out. Yeah. So I'm trying to teach people how to burn fat, not burn sugar. So to be metabolically efficient when we work out, I do this 5-day jumpstart challenge with people, try to teach them all this, but, getting people to practice that, it's hard. So that's why I have this monthly program I wish we could, get everyone to do every month, because I think we always need that kind of reminders of different things that we can do to teach ourselves, how to eat right and how to slow down and, really figure out what your goals are. If you're trying to burn fat, or you're trying to optimize your health, or you're trying to improve performance, or all of the above, here's some things that you can do that, don't cost any money.
Right. So with all these, you talked about all the information out there and the hacks, and people get excited about it. I actually did a podcast several months ago called Overcoming Fitness Podcast Overwhelm, where people that do listen to podcasts, it's like, they're like, okay, yeah, on Monday I'm implementing this hack, and they give it a couple of days, like, well, and then I listen to Ben Greenfield and he says to do this, and then I listen to Tim Ferriss and he says to do this, and they're like hacking themselves to death with all these different things, and they never give it any time to see if it works. So any advice along that, like if you implement or some basic biohacks that we should do and just give some time so that and let the thing actually, let's see if it actually works. So any tips around foundational hacks that we should be looking at, just if we're just looking to get healthier?
Yeah, definitely. My client said that last night to me. He's like, do you ever get information overload? Because, Ben's program I'm in, every week is 1 week. We have a different topic, and then we have all these links to read this, listen and that. I'm like,
I can only imagine.
He puts so much into every podcast, so it's kind of overwhelming. And when I had written my book, Life is Not a Race, about adrenal exhaustion, that's what I did. It was like, okay, now I listen to this person, I'm going to take these supplements, that. And so to answer your question, I understand totally, because I'll do the same thing. And they were type A, we're overachievers, more is better. And that's what I think the biggest thing is. Less is more. Just pick, one thing you're going to work on this week. Like my 5-day jumpstart, let's pick what things are more, what I say, your area of opportunities, not negative program that you suck at doing this, but what's something that's, here are my main health concerns. This is what I as an individual need to work on to reach this goal. All right, let's break it down and figure out your root cause. What's out of balance? What's your why? What do we need to focus on? Let's get to the bottom and then do that. So maybe that person is digestion. So maybe I just need to teach them how to take those deep breaths and sit and eat and not allow snacking and focus on just their meal when they're eating, so they can have proper digestion. Or maybe have some apple cider vinegar in their water beforehand and help their stomach acid. So I think that's a big part of it. Whoop. You there?
Yeah.
So then it's digestion is a big thing for a lot of people. Sleep is huge. How many clients do you have that come to you at 5:30 in the morning and they went to bed at midnight? Yeah. So that person, I'd say, okay, I don't want to see you if you didn't go to bed till, after 10 p.m. Right. Then I'd never see them. But there's people that put too much in their day. So those people that aren't getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep, or if they're not sleeping through the night, let's work on what you're doing before bed. So biohack for that would be like getting those blue blocker glasses, or better yet, staying off those electronic devices 2 hours before bed. Maybe not eating after 6 p.m. and read a book, or have a shower, a cold shower to help your body temperature come down. And so there's all these different things depending on what their goal is. So I think sleep's a big thing for most of my clients I have coming in here. And also, it's hard for a lot of people with alcohol. They have a lot of events because they go out. So I'm always trying to get people to change what they're eating and when they're eating, but also how much they're drinking. And I think people, to change a lot of the big lifestyle habits that you need to be losing weight, 'cause people just, they don't lose weight at all. And so to help them lose weight, there's so many different reasons why, but I know a lot of individuals that could just work on, let's get rid of that alcohol. But then a lot of people can't. So, all right, can we just do 2 glasses a week, or just have vodka soda? And so that's a big thing for a lot of my clients. They're very busy with their business, their jobs, and they require a lot of social outings. So I tried to get to do all this stuff, and then they stay up too late and drink too many cocktails and martinis.
Yeah. Yeah. Finding that balance between health and lifestyle is a huge battle that people get intimidated by it because they seek out people like you and I, and we put them through a program, and all of a sudden they start to feel like they are like that feeling of, I can't maintain this. I can't maintain this, Coach Debbie. And, but I think people like you and I both have a similar mindset of, well, we're going to kind of sift and sort, and we're going to find that balance, but I just need you to sacrifice a little bit up front and learn and get out of your comfort zone. And I see that in the way that you teach through your podcast. And one of the things that definitely resonated with me was you talked a little bit about how you were kind of frustrated as a personal trainer of like, you wanted to make more of an impact. You knew you could make more of an impact if you could just get people to give up more control and let you kind of have your hands on a bigger part of the picture, and you start developing the Wholestic Method. So I want to talk about the beginnings of that and then dive deep.
Great. That's, this is what I get excited about, why, why we do what we do, right? What's your passion, purpose, and impact? And, I took a mentorship program in mastermind group with Todd Durkin, who's a big motivational leader in the fitness industry. And he really drives that, what's your passion, what's your purpose, and, what's your why? And I think for me, I learned a lot over the years as a personal trainer since I was in college, and somehow I just turned 47 this week, that it's like, wait, I'm training clients 1 to 3 times a week. I only have 1 to 3 hours with them. I train mostly 30, 45 minute interval sessions with clients. So what they're doing the rest of the day and that night, that's where I'm going to make the biggest difference. So I realize that, exercise is one little part of it. But if they're going to exercise and go sit in a chair all day, I can't really help them that much. I'm not making an impact. And if I just see them once a week and they don't do anything the rest of the week, like I have people like that, like, okay, we're not making any progress. So I need you, if you're going to commit to me, personal training, invest in my services, I would love for you to work on this. And ideally, I could get everyone to do my 5-day jumpstart and my 30-day coaching and doing nutritional therapy to figure out more individually what they need. But I found that they need to work on what I say, the whole person from the inside out. So we talked already, a little nutrition is obviously, we all go into dieting and people want to lose weight with us, and then exercise, of course. But what about the rest of the factors that affect their health? So stress is my big thing. And I think a lot of people can relate to this chronic stress disease, I call it. And then we've got sleep. A lot of people sacrifice their sleep to get more in during the day. And that's related, everything impacts the other. And then we've got movement. As I said, if they work out 30, 45 minutes early in the morning, then they go sit the rest of the day, there's issues there. So getting 10,000 steps a day is a good goal for people. Cool. And then digestion, gut health is huge, which impacts all of those elements. That's a biggie. And that's what I try to teach people, my Jumpstart Challenge and nutritional therapy. And then hydration. How many people don't drink any water? And what we've learned is half your body weight in ounces per day of clean filtered water is ideal, plus another 12 ounces if you're having any diuretics like coffee, caffeinated tea, sodas, stuff like that. So most people are so dehydrated and our body's 60% water. So I'm always trying to get people to get a bottle. And I actually stopped having paper cups by my water filter, so people would force themselves to get a big bottle and bring it with them. Like, you're wasting cups having this. Get a bottle. How come you don't have a bottle in your car and get rid of the plastic? So I've been trying to get people to drink more. And the last element of my Wholestic Method program is one of my favorites, and it's happiness. And I really believe that happiness is impacted in all these other elements. If you don't eat right, you're probably got blood sugar dysregulation, you're moody. If you have gut dysbiosis, you're going to be moody, upset, depressed, because the gut-brain connection. If you're not exercising or exercising too much, you might not be happy because you're not getting those endorphins. If you're dehydrated, you might get a headache. So they all impact one and another. And the happiness part is so essential. So I make sure, that positive mindset and looking at the glass half full versus glass half empty, and doing a gratitude journal. You're just taking time, if you can meditate or take time out and write in your journal, here's what I'm thankful for today, or here's what I appreciated in my day today. And so I'm trying to do that for 30 days myself and get back into my own personal routine at night to just write, 3 things or more and just start that process.
Yeah, I love the gratitude journal. I'm a big journaler. So with you, do you like to do that at the beginning of the day? Like just your personal preference. When do you implement that?
I do it at night. So my schedule as a fitness studio owner and trainer, I get up super early. And ideally, this is not my ideal schedule. So ideally, I wouldn't work right away in the morning. I work at 5:30 in the morning most days, or I go work out and then I have clients 6:30, depending on the day. So I wake up at 4:30. That's not ideal. I'd rather wake up at 6 and then get going and do my HRV testing in the morning, go for an outdoor walk and get some fresh air, do my strength training, and then do gratitude journal actually before I get up. So I do it at nighttime. I like to reflect on the day actually and just kind of see who made an impact. Or yesterday it was, I went for a walk by myself and I really appreciated the fall colors and just take a moment, actually sat in a rock and looked at this
Nice.
the scenery. And I've had thoughts in my head. So I sat down and wrote them into my phone, but it just, when you can take that time out, and that's so hard for people to learn to do because, given that gratitude, you're stopping to write in a journal because we're just going all the time. And I think even Ben Greenfield's talking a lot about that. And he's changed that into his lifestyle, more slowing down and not rushing and, going one thing to another. I always have that gas pedal on. So I think eventually people might learn, what's going to happen if you live life like that. So I think, it's important for people to do.
Yeah. And that is something I'm super interested in right now because I feel like one of the biggest epidemics that we have going right now is everybody just another thing to the plate, another thing, just adding more and then trying to figure it out. And I've got so many busy working parents that are spending all their time on their career and have their kids in 29 different sports and they're going to practice and all these things. And they're like, I don't have time to invest in me. And I'm thinking, client, isn't it a good idea? Time invested in you is, healthy mommy or healthy daddy is a good thing for the whole family. And it's just like, a lot of them just cry. They're like, you're right. So as somebody from a similar position, we're both fitness center owners. We both do personal training. We both do podcasting, online content. It can get overwhelming. So with you, I love to pick people's brains and ask them the question of how do you handle the balance between what's hitting enough versus more? So that balance between, okay, I can accept something else. I can take another thing on. Maybe I have to delegate something else or whatever. So how do you look at that balance of enough versus more?
Well, I think I've had to learn the hard way, and I've added, I'm kind of forced to take time down. So a lot of times I go home when I have a break, say example, Tuesday, Thursdays, I work morning to about 11, then at night, 4 to 7. And I actually go home, eat lunch. I have one meal a day those days. I go home and I often have a nap.
Yeah.
So I, before, would always run home, eat something real quick, go for my bike ride because I was doing Ironman Triathlons. So I'd fit another part-time job in on top of business owner and trainer and podcaster and a coach. So for me, I make priority to listen to my body. Like yesterday, I was saying I went for a walk. Well, I wanted to go for a bike ride or go for a run because it was a pretty day outside. My body didn't want to. I didn't feel that energy. I was kind of tired. I had a nap and I'll nap for 20 minutes and just get up. It's great. But I didn't feel that energy. So instead of going out for a garbage bike ride or a crappy run, I took care of myself and went for a nice walk on some hilly trails. So that's what I have to do, know when to listen to my body because I'll try to pack too much in because it is my personality. So it's this ongoing challenge not to do too much. So sometimes you have to say no or delegate it to someone else or, I don't take any more clients. I give them to one of my trainers that works with me. So it's just knowing when to, it's like, okay, I'm blocking this time off. You have to schedule things more. Like these are my days I'm podcasting. These are the days I'm going to work on my Training Peaks coaching clients. And then these are the times I'm going to go, my workout is, this blocked off this time. So I think you just have to have your schedule organized and prioritize yourself. Like you're saying, take yourself as a priority and put the oxygen mask on first, or else you just I would never get that workout in, or, going for my bike ride or anything that's outside for me is when I can reset and recalibrate.
Yeah, I always say that the stuff will fill in the cracks no matter what. And if we don't have any sort of schedule or any sort of template, the stuff will just overwhelm the entire thing. So make ourselves a priority, just like you said there, and take a second just to breathe. Like every once in a while I'll find myself, or I get overly busy and I have like 15 minutes. I'm like, all right, I can either use the bathroom, eat, or sleep in this 15 minutes. And when I'm like thinking through those three things, like I should be able to do all of those things, And so I'm like, okay, too busy. We need to delegate and delete some things off the schedule for sure. Now, one of the things that I've really enjoyed as I've researched you and listened to your show and everything with your fitness studio is you just seem like you're somebody that's just hungry to keep learning. Like you're driven to learn. You have you have 45 certifications. It's funny because I gave myself a fake accreditation. I call myself the PhD, not a PhD, the PhD, because I'm a previously heavy dude. So I've got my PhD hat, my previously heavy dude hat. But yours are legit. Funny. Like you have dug in and acquired some amazing certifications and knowledge. So I'm just curious, like what was the one that you felt like was the biggest game changer, had the biggest impact on you from an accreditation standpoint, or just learning something new from somebody else?
Good question. Well, starting going to more nutrition side over the years, but when I took nutritional therapy practitioner course, you meet in person, that's online, but it's a 9-month program. And that really was huge for me because, as we were saying, as a trainer, you can't really get results from people just training them 2-3 times a week. Or, if you tell them to eat less carbohydrates and do the no sugar, no grains plan, there's so much more to it. But in nutritional therapy, it really changed the way how I would coach someone. And ideally, I'd get everyone to do a nutritional therapy session because we do the hands-on portion. And it's a whole functional evaluation. Then we do neurolingual testing to find out what supplements their body is missing or needs to feel better to reach homeostasis. So it's pretty fascinating and exciting because you can find, you think everyone needs digestive enzymes and HCl, so stomach acid supplement or probiotic. But if I test it on them, sometimes that's not what they need. It might be something supporting their brain, or it might be a blood sugar regulation support. So for me, it's been really amazing if you can do that with people and figure out what is the missing parts that aren't functioning. And that helped me individually as I've had my health problems for 5 years and I still can't get back to training for a marathon or any long distance stuff. My body just can't do it. So I'm trying to figure out why. And instead of just seeing even a naturopath, you get all the labs and then they just give you miscellaneous supplements because what's low, but it's still not looking at the root cause. So when you meet with an NTP, nutritional therapy practitioner, we can help dig deeper. Let's get those labs from that practitioner, from the naturopath, but then let's looking at what we can do to get to the root cause. Like what is the missing piece of the puzzle? So that's, to me, is just amazing. So, and then I'm in my new thing. I already have 2 more programs I want to do next. It's so cool.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah. So what I just learned is that genetic testing and personalizing your fitness and nutrition program based on your labs and taking the info from 23andMe or ancestral health genetics that you get, and then you can figure out even more how we can coach a client based on those results. It's pretty cool stuff coming out.
That is super cool. And you're helping people, like you help kind of the average Joe that's just trying to get healthy, but you're helping people that are like elite triathlon competitors. So, what's the difference in the approach between somebody that's like, Debbie, I need to drop 15 pounds so I don't get put on, blood pressure medication, versus the person that's like, I want to win Ironman,
Yeah.
So what are the difference as far as the approach there?
Well, I think that's why I always change my podcast, the whole athlete or the whole triathlete, because sometimes they're more triathlon specific, but I don't like to just do triathletes. I think what I'm trying to teach people is the Wholestic Method to improve your performance in daily life. And that's for anybody, as well as performance in whatever events, endurance events you're doing. So for a triathlete, I've coached people, a lot of them struggle with fatigue that I had. And so I know firsthand, like, let's look at this. And a lot of times I just had 2 people that just got back to racing. They did well and qualified for Ironman Hawaii. The other person did a great job because we identified some of the root causes of why they're feeling fatigue and why they just weren't sleeping and they're gaining weight. Because sometimes it's just like, let's just, get to the right thing. It might be one or two things we need to switch, or getting the right supplements for a few months. So that is a big thing, but that's same for just anyone. Just, I want to feel better and to live, and I want to improve the aging process. So I always, it's not that much difference. Maybe like I'll change their triathlon training schedule. So you're not doing chronic cardio and doing that excessive amount. So maybe we'll do more minimal training for Ironman or whatever distance they're doing, and training not like that black hole that you're down here heart rate or up here doing intervals. But I think so many people do so much that the black hole training that's more just garbage workout. So teaching people as an athlete when to take a walk in the park instead of doing that, that's the hardest thing, because most people, we're all type A triathletes.
Right. Yeah. Just add more. Just give me more, coach. More is better. So you've mentioned your adrenal fatigue a couple of times. Let's dive into that. So what was the situation that led up to that? What were the symptoms? I think a lot of people suffer from this and they don't realize it. So what were the symptoms and what did you start doing to correct it?
That's what I feel like that's my purpose now, that, I always think, okay, why is this happening to me? What's the reason? And why is it happening to me again? It's just like, why me kind of story. But I was thinking, okay, what's the lesson to be learned in this? And I was thinking, twist it around, make it a positive. What is the reason for this? And make it something that you're supposed to learn from it. So to me, it's to help other people avoid going through what I've had. And so what happened to my health, 2013, I just came off of a Ironman race in the Ironman Hawaii World Championship in Kona, and I did some other races. Well, that was in October 2012. And by the time March 2013, I was training for Ironman Canada, which is end of June, July that year. And I just had nothing. I just couldn't even pedal. I was so tired and fatigued and emotional. I just got off my bike and started crying. And that was kind of the starting point of, like, something's wrong here. And then I had some other stories I shared, kind of my personal life story in my book, because I felt like I needed to get it out for myself, but also I knew other athletes could identify with a lot of those symptoms. And I couldn't find help myself. I went to all these different people and probably did too much. And then you're taking this whole bag of supplements like Dr. Kalish and Christopher Kelly. And then I'm seeing doctor after doctor here, naturopath, and they just do the same thing. Give me labs, give me more supplements. Not working on really, the real lesson I learned was you can take all those supplements, but unless you change yourself and how you approach life and your mindset and your training schedule and just your day-to-day activities, nothing's going to change.
Yep.
So that was a big thing.
Yeah. For things to change, we have to change. For things to get better, we have to get better. And that, I know I'm speaking as somebody that I've worked myself into the hospital 3 different times, where just similar to you, like my alarm went off at 3:45 a.m. the last 3 mornings in a row. Because 5:30 a.m. class, I got to go in there, I got to set up, and and I got to feed the dog and all this stuff, and then I'm done at 9:30 at night.
So that's wrong.
I got to get my midday siesta time in, like you talked about earlier. But it's just something that I feel like our world is just getting so busy, and it's just that more and more, and don't think about nurturing ourselves or just being happy. Like, are we operating in a place where we can enjoy the ride as we go? So yeah, it's something that I really like about you, and that you're teaching that, hey, let's take a break. Let's get out of our own head and let's start really thinking through things. So, when you get a client that, whether it's one of your people in your gym or an online client, and they're really they are in their head and they're thinking, I have to just keep doing more. I have to keep eating less. I have to keep training more. How do you get them to turn the corner? What's that conversation look like when you are trying to grab them and really kind of shake them a little bit and get them to focus on something different? What does that look like?
Well, so I think it would be more for personal training clients. They might hear me talk, and as I observe how they move, how they arrive to the session, people walk in the door and they might feel really tense, and I can tell. You can just sense it when people are too chronically stressed and their shoulders and neck are tight. They don't sleep at night. They struggle with their weight. Their energy kind of is up and down. And so I think what I've created is this 5-day jumpstart challenge to get people, let's get on it. And part of that's an hour seminar, kind of touch on the 8 elements of the Wholestic Method. So it gives them an idea of what it is. And every day I coach them for 5 days, just emails and texts, and help them with nutrition or whatever they want. But it's kind of a good way to get them in the door. Like, you know what? I need a little bit more individualized attention. And so the next phase would be, all right, let's do a 30-day one-on-one program that I meet with you every week for 30 minutes to an hour, and let's dive into what we're finding is your area of opportunity. What are the areas we need to spend more time in, and hacks for sleeping better or slowing down during the day, or how we can implement a walk in the afternoon. What we're working on is that nasal breathing and doing acupuncture even, and just helping you slow down, measuring your HRV, measuring your blood sugar, your ketones if you want to get more nutrition, and doing my infrared sauna that I have, because people just don't know how to stop and just sit still. And so that's the bigger thing is infrared, for example, is detoxification, but it's also to sit in there and not to talk to anybody and not do something is the hard part, just not be on their phone.
Yeah, that's the thing that just blows me away is people just have a hard time doing nothing. Like, can you just do nothing for like 5 minutes and just breathe? You don't have to full on meditate. You don't have to write a journal, but let's just breathe and just hit the pause button. And I know that you probably see the similar thing, but when people actually do that, they start to crave more and they start to see the benefit of, taking care of ourselves. And then we get them hooked, which is awesome. That's the whole point, right? Now, one of the things that I wanted to pick your brain about was I help a lot of people like lose weight, and we always have to, I call it, you have to create a new purpose, a new identity, because eventually you run out of real estate to sell. Like if you have to lose 100 pounds and then you've lost your 100 pounds, like we don't want to, there's no other 100 pound to lose. So we have to create that new purpose, that new identity. And I get a lot of people that have like, they start to notice like, I have a muscle and I can run and I can jump a little bit. And they want to explore that athleticism, but a lot of them are scared because they think, okay, if I get too far out, if I do a 5K, if I do an endurance race, if I try like a triathlon situation or whatever, I might get hurt and then I'll gain all my weight back. And they fear that. They fear it. So what type of tips or advice would you give somebody? Because I know that person is listening right now. So you've got a captive audience. Like, what would you say to that person that is kind of wanting to nudge their toe in the water and explore that athleticism, but they're kind of scared about it?
Ironically, I just wrote a blog about this yesterday.
Yes.
So I wrote a blog it's a triathlon I've helped do seminars for. It's called Ironman Triathlons. It's in Kona, Waikoloa, and end of March. In 2020, it's going to be on April 5th. So good goal for people. It is Olympic distance triathlon, but it was started based on the need for the team and training people to do a beginning triathlon. So it's kind of, if people know, Danskin triathlon was the beginning era where I started doing sprint triathlons. And so it's having a goal it's fun and it's family and there's so much support and laughter. And, I always think magic you get from Madame Paley in the Hawaiian Islands. You just feel this calm and it's just joyful. So having something like that, a small goal. This is Olympic distance triathlon, but I think it's, something like that, or half marathon. I have people train for in Carlsbad in January, California. I like to do that with clients because, say, do you go to New York City or go to Europe, Boston, you walk everywhere. So you can easily walk a half marathon. And so I encourage people to start with something like that because it's along the coast. It's beautiful. And there's a lot of ocean and people around, and most people are walking. So that is the benefit of that. Yeah. But I love getting people. I'm trying to get my clients, 2020, got time to plan. Yeah. That's a long time away. And they can work on getting training, or better yet, there's a relay that they can do. And so a relay race, someone can swim. It's less than a mile swim, and it's in the ocean. So people get scared of that, but there's like 100 kayakers around the whole course. So nothing's going to happen. It's where all the turtles are too. So it's magical. And then you ride your bike out to the Four Seasons and back on the highway. And then you walk around the resort. And there's so many walkers in those events and people riding just bike cruisers that it's not threatening. It's not, scary is once you get there. So that's kind of what I like people do, something that's more beginners are going to be there. So you're not going to be scared, intimidated. But I know when people set a goal like that to do a half marathon, to walk it, and then maybe they want to like do more. Because once you cross the finish line, like, this is such a great feeling of accomplishment. I feel so good about myself. And then they can maybe look to something else. Like, okay, I want something else. Give me something. Maybe I'm going to do a bike ride and some organized ride. So it just gets people the confidence that you can do this. You don't have to be 100 pounds, 5% body weight guy, female, whatever, that it's possible. And so setting up realistic training program, as we said earlier, less is more, and you don't have to spend a ton of hours training. So I think they're so rewarding, and that was my article I wrote in Lava Man newsletter and for my website. So
that's
to keep people motivated.
Yeah, so my takeaway thoughts there are, we need to keep it fun. We need to keep it low pressure. And we need to maybe get some other people involved that we can go and experience it together as a kind of a crew. So you have that support. I feel like that's something that people don't think about a lot of times. Yeah.
But the key thing too, I think is make it an event. So that's why I'd rather, instead of, I'm in Seattle, do Seattle half marathon, and it's might be good, but I think going somewhere, making it a fun weekend. Like I, for years, did this Carlsbad trip to San Diego. We go get our nails done. And the day before, and we did stretching. We hung out by the pool a little bit and read. And then the race, we go out to Mexican food after the race. And, I had a fun weekend. So then it's just, I get to do it again. So, and that's what Lava Man is, a fun race. They have a kids race. They have a party afterwards on the beach. And it's just chill, and it's usually spring break type. So something like that's rewarding. Maybe you do it with friends or family, that is just makes you smile and have fun and feel good to do it again.
Yeah, that sounds, I want to go to Hawaii or Carlsbad, or even get to Washington, anywhere but Indiana. Indiana is not like the most scenic. There's a lot of corn and like flat, land. That now you've got me psyched. So now I want to make sure that people check out your show, because it's really well done. Like I said, you do your research, you dig in, you're hungry to learn. But then the best part is you do all that research for us, and then you kick us the facts with your show. Okay. So is there one episode, like if somebody is going to listen to this and they're going to check out your show, is there an episode that you would recommend to start with, or should they just go to the beginning and binge listen? That's okay, too.
We have so many, because we started at Fit, Fat, Fast. So it used to be metabolic efficiency, more fat, low carb for athletes. And then I got into nutritional therapy, and there's so much more to being healthy, and talking about sleep. And I do like the one I just did with Jimmy Moore and his my wife, Christine, because they have this real food keto book out, because she just became a nutritional therapy practitioner last year, and they're involved with the business, the NTA company that founded it. So their new book really goes into what I talk about as a nutritional therapist. So I'm happy that they're supporting Nutritional Therapy Association to explain what it is, because as I always say, not enough people know what NTPs do or what it's about and how we can help them. Because my big pet peeve of all these people trying to do keto and low carb, high fat, it's like, wait a minute, if you are chronically stressed, you are going to have digestive issues, because your stress is on, digestion's off. You're going to have immune issues. It's about gut health. And if you're eating while you're doing 50 things at once and not even chewing your food, you're going to have problems. And if you're stressed, every stress response, you have that emergency response system going. So you're activating your body to run from that line. So you're increasing your blood sugar. And so that's been a big thing. That's always been a problem. Everyone on this keto bandwagon, which I think is great to go low carb, high fat. The main goal in nutritional therapy, I agree with, is to balance your blood sugar. So, and everyone's different what macronutrients you need, but the main goal is test your blood sugar, make sure it's stabilized, so you know you're doing the right thing with your food. Yep. But everyone is forgetting the other part that we talk about, the Wholestic Method. And so that's kind of what their interview was about. And my goal next year is to take my Wholestic Method manual and rewrite it for the athlete, endurance athlete, just add more nutritional therapy in it as well as what they did. But yeah, that's a good place to start.
Good. Yeah, I love that interview, and I thought that the topic was really good. I ordered their book, so we're going to dive into that. So what are the other ways that people can connect with you? Make sure they can check out your show, your website, get in touch with you about coaching. What's the best way to follow you and connect with you?
Well, DebbiePotts.net is my website. So my goals, I'm a reminder every week on Monday, scheduled to write a blog. So I'm trying to write more because that helps me learn more. And like in this Keon Coach program, I'm with Ben Greenfield for another month. We keep learning new stuff. So then I want to dive deeper into it because we're just doing one topic a week. So it's a ton of information. So it makes me dive in deeper. Let's do a podcast on it. Or write a blog. So my podcast is called The Whole Athlete, The Whole Triathlete, kind of mix it up, talk about nutritional therapy, talk about elements of the Wholestic Method per show. So I try to mix it up so it's not just nutrition. We talk about the gut biome. We're talking about, using the Aura Ring and using heart rate variability, or talking about, I just did one on natural running and wearing minimal shoes. So I try to mix it up because I think there's so much to share.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've been doing. A YouTube channel, Instagram, The Wholestic Athlete.
Yeah, and I'll link all those up in the show notes with the podcast. So if you guys are listening in, you can hit those, and all the links will be right there. Now, Debbie, I always like to leave my audience, like, you've inspired them. We've got some ideas cooking. I like to leave them with an action step that they can take in the next 24 hours. So let's say somebody's fired up and they are ready to start making some positive changes, or maybe they're ready to kind of build momentum towards doing something like an Ironman or triathlon, or doing a marathon, half marathon. What would be one action step you would tell somebody that's ready to up their game or ready to kind of reverse their momentum? So what's one thing they'd say, try this or do this in the next 24 hours?
Well, first I would say order my book on Amazon, Life is Not a Race, How Not to Do What I Did, because I was doing too much. And if you're really going to start adding in more training for any event, it's really working on the whole you, so you're not having imbalance. So that's a big thing. And my manual has interviews I've done over the years. So those are two things you can just get on Amazon, get the next week. But right away, I think, is making sure what I said earlier is taking time out to just breathe and be quiet. If it's just 30 seconds to a minute, nasal breathing, belly breathing, quieting your mind, not having 10 things going on at once. Second thing is a big pet peeve for me is turn off all those notifications on your phone and just get those alerts. And people with these Apple Watches, just minimize distractions and focus more. When you're eating, focus when you're with somebody, what you're doing. Get off your social media and your computer and emails at nighttime. I think we need to be more structured with all that, like answer emails certain time, do your social media, not 24/7.
I've got a great Apple Watch story, and normally I wouldn't tell it, but you're going to love this. So when I've got my client, we're in a class, boot camp class, she's doing burpees, and she's trying to talk to her kid on her Apple Watch as she's doing burpees, and she's like yelling at her watch. And I was like, "What are you doing, Tracy?" And she's like, "I'm trying to talk to my son." And I was like, "This is not effective. You're not having a good conversation, and you're not doing good burpees either. So let's
turn it off."
Exactly. Let's turn it off. So Debbie, I appreciate you so much. I know your time is high value, so it's great that you spent some time here with myself and my audience. I feel like we were kind of kindred spirits in the health and fitness world. We have similar stories. So thank you so much for taking a little bit of time to add to the Million Pound Mission.
Great. No problem. Love to join in and help out and reach your goal as well for your show.
Yep. Thank you very much. So everybody, you've been inspired, and now it's time to take action. So what can you do in the next 24 hours to get out there and own it? Every meal, every workout, every day. I will see you on the next episode. Hey, thank you for hanging out after the episode to chat a little bit more with your buddy Adam. What did you think of Debbie Potts? What a great interview. I'm really excited to be connected with her. I'm going to get to be a guest on her show here soon as well. So we're fired up to be connected. Now, speaking of being fired up, we are wrapping up the year 2018. All right, about a week left here, and you should be starting to turn your thoughts and focus towards 2019, setting some big goals. Now, I've got a big goal with my Million Pound Mission Bootcamp, and I need your help to achieve it. I want to help 50 people lose 20 pounds each in the first 8 weeks of the year 2019. So if you're somebody that has a 20 plus pound goal for 2019, I would love to help you get there with my Million Pound Mission Bootcamp. If you didn't do the quick math, that's 1,000 pounds of results in 8 weeks. I've done it before, and I'll do it again in January. So if you want to be a part of that, check out all the info at millionpoundmission.com. Our Million Pound Mission Bootcamp registration is open. It is ready. We launched January 7th. So if you want to be a part of my 1,000 pounds of results challenge, then just dive on in, my friend. I'm excited to connect with you, show you how this is a different program. We take care of your nutrition. We take care of your fitness. It's all online, so you can do it anywhere. And I think that you're going to realize that this is something just a little bit different. I had someone in my last boot camp say this was the missing link to a long-term transformation success. And that means the world to me, my friend. So check it out, millionpoundmission.com. Get signed up. Registration is only open for a few more days. So dive in there, grab your roster spot, and let's get going.